I want to talk a little bit to we kind of teed it up a little bit talking about the relationship between operations and HR teams. A lot of the times there's a lot of collaboration that goes on between the two potentially, but maybe y'all have different business goals. How important is it for HR really to understand the operational side of the business? And how do you really facilitate that collaboration between the two at Kenco in particular?
I mean, I think it's imperative for you to understand kind of the operational side of the business for you to be successful, right? I think there's no way that any of the programs we implement will be used to the best of their ability if there's not that partnership, right? And so, I constantly we talk about a lot here about, okay, we want to do this. Have you talked to the operational team about how this program is going to work? Do they agree that this is is this a true need for the program? And so it really kind of starts at the top, right? Making sure that from a strategy perspective, that we understand what are the goals of the business. What does our distribution, our material handling, our transportation, what are their goals for this year? What do they want to execute on? And then how does the HR team kind of play a part in that? How do we partner with them to make sure that they're successful with their goals? And for most of our teams, it's about delivering excellent value to the customers, and then to facilitate, the only way that we're able to facilitate that value is really through our employees. And so there is a natural partnership, I think, between in a 3PL environment, to have that partnership with HR. But I do think you really do have to kind of encourage that collaboration. And then you really have to encourage the HR team to get out of their office, right? You have to encourage the HR team to really walk the floor, understand like what are those driving metrics, please, attend the tier meetings that we're having, for the shift startup meetings every single morning to understand what those operational metrics that they're talking about are and what those translate to the members of the, on the floor. And then just trying as much as we can, we want them to be part of that leadership team at each one of our locations, because that way the HR team member can advise on, okay, how is that going to impact our employees? And then they can also hear directly from the key leaders at each of our locations to say, okay, this is what we're trying to achieve. And then that HR person can then internalize it and say, okay, if that's what you're needing to do, here's some ways to do that from an employee perspective.